What's up guys, it's me Jeremy, and I just want to take this time to talk a little bit about the upcoming Season 4 changes and how they'll affect the game. This should hopefully be the first of many videos I'll make about content from the PvE, and I've got quite a bit to say, so let's get started. Let's start with the new Trinket System and the changes to warding. So just for those who don't know what it is, there's going to be a new 7th item slot implemented, but it's only going to be able to hold these new trinkets, and there is 3 trinkets, all of which are free, but you can only have one at a time. One trinket places a ward that lasts for 60 seconds, another trinket allows you to reveal a location like clairvoyance but with a relatively short range, and the last one reveals stealthed units around you for a short duration, similar to how Oracle's does now. These trinkets upgrade into a slightly improved version at level 9, and after that you can also purchase an additional improved version for 475 gold, but overall the improvements aren't that significant. Oracle's has been removed from the game in favor of that trinket and the new warding system. Now, each player can only place 3 wards on the map, and the green wards are still the same thing, but pink wards have changed drastically. Pink wards now cost only 100 gold, and while they still do reveal wards, they are now completely visible, and anyone can kill a pink ward without a method of true sight. In addition to that, a lot of the bush sizes have been significantly reduced. Every single bush in the game can now be completely revealed with just a single ward, unlike how some of the bushes, specifically the banana bush, cannot be in the game right now. Now, for what these changes mean, it's fairly interesting. Due to the Trinket system, it's now possible for every single lane to start with a ward for free, or at the very least some method to check bushes. This causes junglers to have a significantly weaker early game, since there's going to be quite a bit more wards and overall map awareness on the map early, and ganks will be a lot more difficult. In addition, other roles will have to buy more wards due to the 3 wards on the map per person limit. However, from my experience, the support is still the only one buying wards because people just aren't used to it, and the team ends up playing with 3 wards on the map the entire game, which actually kind of sucks. But due to the removal of oracles and the fact that there isn't really a reliable method of clearing wards, it's not that bad. Pink wards are much weaker than they used to be actually. Pink wards used to be really powerful, but now I find they're only really viable in specific situations, such as positioning for a Baron or for a Dragon. However, due to the nature of the bush changes, actually a lot less wards are necessary to have on the map, and that's a really good thing that makes these changes overall pretty solid, and it's a really good change for supports, which leads me to my next point of discussion: items. Now, there's some radical changes to the gold generation items, and I absolutely love them. So the way it's going to work in Season 4 is that you can have only 1 gold generation item per player, and there's actually quite a bit of new items. There's 3 gold items that cost only 365 gold, meaning that you can start with them. The first is the Executioner's Emblem. This item gives 50 health and 6 HP regen per 5, and has a passive that works twice per minute, being that if a minion is below 200 HP, you can execute it with just 1 basic attack, provided there is a nearby enemy champion, and the other passive being that when you kill a minion using the first passive, you restore some health and give some gold to a nearby ally. After a little bit more research, I've decided that this item is actually extremely strong if you can synergize it on a tanky support and use it to give gold to your AD carry, since the gold that your ally gets from this is actually more than what the minion kill is worth. So you can make it that you give 1 CS per wave to your support, but then your AD carry actually gets more gold out of that. The other item is Cage's Pick. This item gives some AP, mana regen, and gold per 10, as well as a pickpocket passive with a cooldown of 10 seconds that gives 4 gold every time you hit an enemy champion. However, this passive is disabled if you have killed a minion in the last 10 seconds, so that actually makes this item only viable on supports. But this, in correlation with the next item, they're actually extremely overpowered. And this item gives you 6 gold per 10 if you use the passive every time it comes up, and the upgraded version gives you 12 gold per 10 if you're using the passive as well. And the next item is the Philosopher's Pebble. This gives health and mana regen, but now instead of gold per 10, it gives you 2 gold every time a nearby minion dies that you didn't get the last hit on. This actually includes when your allies miss the CS too. Although Kage's can give you more gold, 6 gold per 10 to be exact, if you're using the passive the exact second it comes up, the Philosopher's Pebble is much more reliable, and Kage's is also fairly useless on melee champions too. The Philosopher's Pebble upgrades into the stone that gives 2 gold per 10 and gives 4 gold every time a nearby minion dies. Since there are 6 minions every 30 seconds and then 1 cannon minion every 3 waves, that results in 6.33 minions per 30 seconds, and thus 2.11 minions every 10 seconds, and that results in the item that costs only 850 gold, giving you roughly 10.44 gold per 10 seconds, without having to actually do anything other than stand next to minions that are dying. Not to mention that it upgrades into Shirelias, one of the best support items, that actually keeps the gold generation passive now, and that is the biggest thing on this item. Cage's Pick also upgrades into Cage's Lucky Pick that gives 8 gold instead of 4 on the pickpocket passive, and 4 passive gold per 10. Now, one of the items that Cage's Lucky Pick upgrades into does not keep the gold passives, and rightfully so, as it's Twin Shadows, but that now has a total cost of only 1785 gold. The other alternative, the Shard of True Ice, does let you keep the gold generation passives though, but that item does kinda suck. And because of that, overall I found that the Philosopher's Pebble pretty much almost always outclassed Cage's Pick. And lastly, the Executioner's Emblem also does have an upgrade path, and what it does is not only significantly increase the stats on the item, but increase the gold that your allied champion is getting when you get those execute on the minion kills. And the final upgrade of Martyr's Call is actually really interesting with the active of Health Bomb, which consumes 20% of your current health to shield a target ally for 10% of your maximum health for 4 seconds. And then after 4 seconds, the target explodes, dealing 10% of your maximum health as magic damage in an area. And that's really awesome because you can use this item to shield an ally as well as having some damage that scales off of your maximum health. Overall, these new gold generation items are definitely targeted for the support role, and that's pretty much the only role they're viable on anyways, but they're all extremely overpowered and are a huge buff to supports in general. Anyways, what these gold items mean is seriously a crap ton of more gold for supports. Add in the fact that they increase the global gold for every champion, where you gain much more gold passively without doing anything, and the reduction of wards, causing supports to only have to buy Sightstone, and then just pretty much never having to buy any wards for the rest of the entire game, and that has made supports a role that gets quite a bit of gold now. Supports in Season 4 get as much, if not more gold than junglers get in Season 3, which is huge because this actually allows supports to build items. In addition, a lot of supports utility, such as the AD on Janna's shield and things like that, now scale with items as well. So supports are definitely going to be able to pick up a few items in Season 3, and that's definitely intended, and they'll definitely be a much bigger threat now in the game. Gone are the days of 0 to 1 item supports. It's now very easy to pick up 2 to 4 items depending on how fed you are by the 40-minute mark, in addition to your Sightstone and gold generation item. It's just awesome, and should make for quite a few new champions to be viable on the support role. And due to this passive gold gain, junglers will also get more gold now due to the addition of a 4th jungle camp as well, but that hasn't been released on the PBE yet, so I have no footage of it. And this overall is a huge buff to the junglers late game, which if you coincide with their early game nerf due to the increased amount of wards from the Trinket System, is a pretty solid change for junglers. They'll be able to have a much larger impact in teamfights now, just like supports, while also having a slightly lowered impact in the early game laning phase, which I think is a pretty healthy change for the game. And lastly, the laners that get CS are pretty much unaffected by these changes, since although the global gold has increased, the amount of gold per creep kill has been reduced a little bit, resulting in the laners that get CS having pretty much the same gold overall. And this results in a huge buff to junglers and supports, which is really awesome if you're like me and play one of those roles. The other 3 roles are, of course, just as impactful, so it's awesome for everyone, and so far I'm really liking these changes. But they do feel very different, so get ready to learn a ton of new things come Season 4, and I'll do my best to help you guys with that. My name is Jeremy, and that is it for my video on the Season 4 changes so far. Please follow my stream at twitch.tv/Jeremy_GamingCurios for updates on whenever I'm streaming, and I'd love if you could support me with a like, or join me on my North American chat room Gaming Curios, which I'm always in when I go online. Please subscribe for more awesome content in the future if you enjoyed this video, and I'd love if you could follow me on Facebook or Twitter, of which I will have links in the description. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.